Hey, welcome back to MixNSingle, the podcast. Thank you for joining us another Monday at 8 p.m. We are live today with Onay, the CEO, and Tony Massey Speaks.
What it do?
And today we have sitting with us a special guest, former NFL athlete, Mr. Real Talk with a Pro, mental skills and development coach, Mr. Quinton Spears. Thank you for joining us today, Quinton.
Thank you for having me.
So you just gonna not mention that he was a Dallas
Oh,
Cowboy?
yeah, well, no, I wasn't going to mention that
You gonna do
because, boo is what I'm saying.
You know what?
No, former Cowboys, but what other teams did you play for?
Well, I started off with the Dolphins. That was when I came out of Prairie View. That was my first team.
PV makes
You
productive
know.
people, they say. But go
Nah.
ahead.
Okay.
You went all that. You went all the way.
TSU.
You went all the way down 290 to go to
TSU. That's all right. Go ahead.
No, the Dolphins was my first team. Then I went to the Browns, Colts, and Cowboys.
Okay.
Nice.
Cleveland Browns. I have family in Cleveland, so I'll
Yeah.
give you Cleveland. Okay.
I got family
All right.
up there too.
All right. Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved it.
Yeah. My
So-
godfather retired there. But go ahead.
So I was doing some research about you, and I saw a video where you were talking about your journey, and I think this is something that a lot of people need to hear right now. You were unqualified for the NFL.
Yeah, I read that.
For all intents and purposes, as far as, I have friends right now who have kids who they're paying a lot of money
Yeah.
for these kids to play sports and to get them to that place where they're ready to transition from Pee Wee League, from Pop Warner to the NFL. But compared to what's happening right now, and this is obviously no disrespect to you, but you were not qualified for the NFL. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So one thing I actually noticed growing up was that the reason why I wasn't as successful as I wanted to be was because I was lazy, to be honest with you. So it was really me defeating myself early on. And I ended up graduating high school, never starting a varsity football game.
Wow.
And so that's kind of a big deal when you think about college. Like, okay, so you got to college, but I walked on. So that whole journey right there, of course, not being recruited, not being one of those top athletes and having to go the long way, it actually made me successful.
Yeah.
It made me grind. It made me understand things a lot differently. And that's what it's really a mindset. And that's what I try to teach and get the ones coming up to understand, that it's you versus yourself. And it's really a mindset that you have to adopt to be successful. Because you can have I see it all the time. They have all the talent, but they'll be the ones that don't make it because they just don't have the mindset. Right. And then you have the ones like that aren't as talented, but they have the mindset to grind and work, and it pays off. And you see those are the ones that are successful consistently.
That's awesome, man. When I saw that, I was like, how many people, not just in football, but how many people are out there, I read the statistics. I was actually talking to a friend about this, how women will not apply for jobs that they don't feel qualified for. But what do you lose, right?
I don't know. I've always
that's
applied for
a
jobs
statistic,
that-
But I mean, I guess what I'm thinking about is how many people are looking at their situation and saying, I can't do this.
Right.
I don't have the qualifications.
Right.
I didn't go about it the right way. I'm too old. I just don't have the pedigree. I don't have the degrees. Whatever.
And that's also one thing that I learned when I was younger, is I thought that these people who are successful were they were born with a superhuman type gene. Like it was something different about them. That's why they were that way. And not understanding, all they did was put in the work.
Yeah.
that was the result of putting in the work. But I didn't understand that. I thought, okay, that's just out of my. It's just something I'm not going to achieve, can't achieve, because they're just born different. So once I just understood that, hey, everybody's everybody. Everybody's people. People are people. And just understood that it just took hard work and dedication. That's where it kind of shifted.
Yeah.
But I understand the mindset that people come from, just thinking that, okay, those people who are successful, there's something different about them. Like, they have something that I don't have.
Right.
But we all have what we need.
Yeah.
Well, there's one more question I want to ask, and I'll pass it to the ladies. We've talked about this on the show. We talked about potential.
Okay.
And you have a really interesting take on potential, which I think is pretty awesome. You talk about how we all have potential.
Yes.
If you're breathing,
Right.
you have potential. Can you
Right.
expound on that a little bit?
So I believe we're all here for a purpose. We all have something to accomplish, something to achieve while we're here on this planet. And we all have potential to be whatever it is that we want to be at the highest level that we can. And it's really just making that choice to not be lazy, to get up when you're supposed to if you're an athlete, eat right, stretch, do the little things.
Mm-hmm.
And this translates to life. Like, it's very parallel. It's just doing the little things right. And then, of course, they add up to bigger things. And then you end up being one of those success stories, 1% of people that make it just because you did the little things right. So potential is limitless. I believe like I said earlier, we have the potential to do whatever it is that we put our minds to.
Right.
It's just really being intentional about it.
That's a good word.
I think when we're talking about potential in terms of that conversation, it's a different side of the coin.
Nah, Quinn said we all got potential.
We all have
We all have potential. Everybody.
Everybody has potential.
I got potential.
The potential to be great, the potential to, be a good spouse or mate for someone. But like he said, you have to put in the work.
You do, right.
And the work is what makes it worth the fight,
Right.
worth the effort. You can date someone. We're going to start talking about dating now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because we don't want to talk about the Cowboys and stuff all episode. Anyway, so when we start dating people with potential, it's like you see something in them that they may or may not see in themselves.
Right.
And it's not so much that that person doesn't have the potential to be great. It's just that, it's a hassle dealing with somebody who's not at a certain spot. Now, you can have potential, already be doing something else, but working towards, some other facet of your life. So say, you are a speaker and, a life coach and all these things, but then you want to go into, I don't know.
Acting.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
You're not just coming to a woman with just acting.
Right.
I'm gonna just keep going to these auditions and I'm gonna keep sending my, my one sheets and all of this stuff. You have other things in line. So there's a difference. So don't be petty. That's not what
Man
we
said I got
mean.
potential.
So, potential is good as long as, you understand that we over 30.
No, you're right. I mean, but it's consistent with what he's saying.
Are you over 30?
Barely.
The potential,
I am.
the potential without action.
Right.
That's,
Right.
there's no purpose behind that.
So how do men feel about that? Women who are, so let's say you meet a young lady, she's fine, but she just want to be an actress and she don't have nothing else going for her. And you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. How y'all? I mean,
I believe honestly. I believe that the roles are different. I really do. I've always believed that, and it can be a difficult role when you're not bringing anything to the table except a dream.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Let me just address the elephant in the room. Let me
Okay.
directly ask you. In your, with all of the successes that you've had, being a previous football
okay.
athlete.
That elephant. Okay.
And now you're not playing football anymore. You ventured off into other areas of your life, but you still have that shadow of being a pro football player.
Right.
So of course, people are going to automatically be attracted to that title within itself. How do you sift through? How are you sifting through that in your dating? Like, how does that work for you? How has that been working for you?
Well, for one, I've never been the one to, I guess, boast about any accomplishment. So I'm not coming out with I play football anytime soon.
Right.
Like, because I know that has a certain
I didn't even know you played
perception and
football
it-
for a
right, right.
while.
Oh, really?
It has a certain, people change when they find out that type of information. So I want to see how you treat me before you know
Good.
what I've done.
Right.
Right.
So that helps me sift through that. And of course, like now I'm really into basically connecting and having like energy and like mindset and stuff like that. So when you narrow that pool down, like you have very few to choose from.
Right.
So it's dry out here. It's hard out here. Hey, when you really look, when you really actually intentional and looking for a partner.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's dry. I agree.
I would lead with that. Hi, I'm Tony Massey, former NFL player. How you doing?
Hey, of course you would. Of course you would.
I told him in business, hey, lead with it.
You watch
You
football?
worked your ass off to get to that
Right,
point.
right, right.
True.
You may have
Let it
seen
be
me.
Yeah.
I was on the Cowboys.
So you have some other things going on besides football. So you have Real Talk with the Pro and a clothing line. What's going on with that? And how's that working out?
So my clothing line is in the early stages of development.
Okay.
I actually found a investor to go in with me. The energy's great, so we're bouncing off ideas. But the name of the clothing line is The Chosen.
Okay.
So that's coming from me just believing that everyone is chosen to do something.
Right.
And I know I'm chosen for. And at the end of the day, as long as I believe that, I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah.
But the one of the concepts
That's
is,
it.
of course, the first line is gonna be like one of one. So in today's today's society, like everybody's
Trying to-
copying and
I
mimicking
agree.
people, and everybody's not being authentic to themselves. So the chosen, of course, is somebody that knows that they are different. Somebody that's not trying to fit in and doesn't mind being weird or whatever. But anybody wants to call you, but you're authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
And then the one of one, of course, is letting you know that it's me.
just me.
It's just me.
Right.
That's dope. I like that
I like
concept.
that too.
So tell me about Real Talk with a Pro.
So Real Talk with a Pro came about because I was sitting there thinking, how many kids have an opportunity, or not even kids, how many people in general have an opportunity to speak with a professional athlete? And it's not many. And when I just narrowed it down to me mentoring and talking to these kids and knowing the impact that it has on them, it made me want to scale it. So just being able to get the game from a professional, get tips from a pro, because it's different when, like, your mom tries to tell you
Yeah.
how to make it to the league. Like,
Right.
Mama, you ain't never played football.
Right.
Right.
Barely watching.
Right.
Yeah, right.
But when somebody's been there, it carries a different alertness and tune to it that captivates people that it usually wouldn't, or you may not have been able to reach. So it's definitely me just trying to be a light, give the game to as many people as I can, try to tell them what I learned early. And that's really what I try to do.
Okay.
That is so
But it's not just football, though. You
Right.
take it outside.
It's life.
It's life. Yeah.
In general.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's life. Everything is parallel to life.
Right.
I figured that out in sports. It's definitely one of those things that
Yeah.
I used to tell my son that sports is a metaphor for life.
It is.
It is.
Winning, losing, practicing,
Right,
the whole
right.
nine.
So now that you said that it's dry out here, look, I'm all in this business. Share with us some of the unrealistic expectations you bump into when you meet people, like both on your end and their end. 'Cause I know you meet people and you probably
Yeah.
think they're great, and
Yeah.
then boom,
Boom.
it's like the air out of a balloon.
Womp,
Right.
womp.
So, what are some of the unrealistic expectations that you've been hit with in trying today in this dry climate?
Right. I would say probably the top one would be that's unrealistic is y'all expect guys.
y'all.
Let me
Ooh,
not
yeah.
say-
Hold on. I should have warned you, man.
No, but
They
tell me
don't.
if
They
this
don't
is a
do
true
well with
statement.
generalizations.
Tell me if
I
this
don't.
is, tell me if this is a true statement.
Okay.
Most women expect guys to be able to like read their mind, to catch hints, to without saying it, but y'all just hint. Like, no, you gotta tell me
Use
word
your
for
words.
word.
Use
Yeah.
your words.
Yeah.
You know, I made a post about that.
Because I can't. I'm not gonna guess. I'm not gonna try. Like, you gotta. That's an unrealistic expectation that I see probably the most. Like,
Okay.
just tell me. I can't read.
They go on both sides of the fence.
I think so.
Right,
I
right.
think that, a lot of times men are the same way. They're having a bad day, or, they didn't like something, a way that you touched them, or, but you don't know until they use their words. That
It
happens on both
does.
sides of the coin. But a lot of men would agree.
Yeah,
You know, we see all the memes. You know,
And it could just be that women are intimidated by you. You know, a lot of times when you're a successful being or you have that persona of being successful, they don't even know how to approach you.
Right. But
To
if
make
they,
But if
themselves look
they've
available.
gotten that close to you at that point, you know, then we have to discuss being adults and being
Right.
able to communicate, you know, and how you plan for this thing to go.
See, men don't shoot their shot though, so they just wait.
That is not true.
I don't think that's
Some
Y'all-
men don't shoot their
Men
shot.
shoot
okay.
this shit. Y'all
Some men.
block.
Well, I know a lot of women are nowadays. A lot of women
Right.
shooting their shot now.
shoot it.
Yeah.
It
And I
might
don't
go
think guys
in.
mind. I think women think that guys aren't
Right.
okay with women shooting
Their
their shot. But I think men are pretty okay. with
What
it.
about shooting your shot in your friend's court?
Oh, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk.
Shooting
Let's
at
talk
your-
about that bro
shooting
and
at your homie's goal.
sister code. Yeah, so earlier I even inboxed him about it. You know, we were talking about April and Fizz and Omarion, and you know, okay. So this is what I found out. What's tea? Okay, so apparently Omarion and April broke up in 2016. Let me just start there. Okay, Omarion and April have 2 kids. And I think they were engaged at some point, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
They were.
And now his bro or bandmate or
Bandmate,
whatever
yeah.
you want to call it, too close,
Right.
in my opinion.
They grew up
They're
together.
together. Is together now with April. And they're like, F y'all, we doing what we want to do. It's not your business, blah, blah, blah. But in real life, not on reality TV, you know, how could this have potentially gone? Because Omarion is just like playing it low. He's just like, he ain't with that energy. He, you know, he aligning his chakras and he is,
Right.
you know, doing something totally different. He not even acknowledging it. But the world is watching and I'm just like, you know, it's a little embarrassing.
That's
and what
a
are you going to
real
tell your
public
kids?
L right there, boy.
It's not even an L, and let's talk about L. Remember we said we were
You
going to...
got L is for lesson.
L is for lesson, not for losing.
Hey.
I mean,
Sorry.
does that resonate in the world that you came from as far as sports? Like, I mean, obviously being on a professional
Wow.
football team, there's a brotherhood. I'm
Right.
sure.
Right.
You have a lot of intimate moments as
Right.
far as, you know, working towards the same goal. Are there rules in the locker room that you can discuss as far as
Right.
what women can be transferred or are up for grabs?
Transfer.
Is that a bro code?
I knew I was
know?
going.
Did you say transfer?
I ain't mean transfer. I
Some
meant
girls
like
run through the league now.
But
They
did
got
I
a
meant,
few of
like-
You
them.
said a woman can't be transferred.
not transferred, but
Pass.
Anyway,
Recycled, whatever.
go ahead.
Oh my
Go ahead, Q.
God.
Answer the question.
Yeah. Look, they just
Help
trying
me out,
to get
bruh.
you. I got you. Tag me in.
And I'm not
Got you.
helping.
Boom.
Tag you in.
Nah.
Tag you in.
Nah.
I ain't read it like that.
No, but it's
Pass the round.
it-
Tag.
I would say it's a code, but it's more of you have to have. I feel like they were close enough to respect each other on a different level.
Yeah.
So if you've been my brother, and now you with my lady, like that just. How long have y'all been looking at each other? What y'all been doing?
Right.
Like this whole time, I'm thinking that okay, I've got the one, and then I got my fam, my bro. But the whole time, y'all plotting and sneaking.
And then, too, you know, I kind of thought in the back of my mind, the reason why Omarion is probably handling it this way in public is because he already dealt with it.
Right.
Yeah,
in
he's-
private. It's
this isn't
probably-
new to him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably not news to him, but at the same time,
It looks bad.
I don't know. I have a different take on this. Having exes, especially ones that I don't want anymore. There's a part of me that's like, why? If you can be happy, go ahead. I mean, I guess in my mind, if I'm done, then what am I holding on to?
So what he goes from what, Uncle Fizz to Stepdaddy Fizz?
listen.
I mean, the logistics definitely is difficult, but I guess what I'm
Pop.
saying
Uncles,
is
yeah, watch out for them uncles, y'all.
Pop, fizz,
But how can
fizz.
you see the other one and not think about the whole situation? Like,
Yeah.
how can you look at Fizz and she not think about Omarion?
Right.
Like, that's just, or how can he look at her and not think about? Right,
Somehow
that's-
they made it to this point.
that's
Though. I
just-
just feel like something else. You know, they had to have
A little triangle or
some type
something.
of conversation. Maybe.
I guess the other thing is there's so many
Maybe.
people on the planet. why did you have to?
Right.
Why did you have to fish in my pond?
Right.
And you know, you see that
she is
happen a
beautiful,
lot.
but-
It's,
She's very
back to what you
attractive,
were
but-
saying. When Mary J. Blige and her husband, what's his name?
Mary J. Blige's
husband.
Whatever.
That part.
When they were going through their divorce, and the young lady that she was mentoring, and she had signed to her label or whatever, they were going back and forth between each other, saying that each other was sleeping with this girl, and I kept saying, so both of y'all done slept with this girl.
Right.
Like
It's
this
going down.
Yeah, so that could have been the situation.
She just chose.
She chose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I feel like there's a lot of women out there, and you're a celebrity,
Right.
so you have access to women on a whole different level than the regular guy does.
And Omarion can have any. Listen, Omarion can have any woman he so desires.
I'm sure Fizz can too, though.
Right. So
He
why
a little
he had to
whack
go with
right
his
now.
best
I just.
friend?
Well, I meant
Yeah.
before
he looks wiggity whack.
He does, yeah. It
right
does
now.
look like,
and he
man.
looked whack to me before. So that's me though.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah. But that's-
Omarion is the star
Yeah.
of the group.
He definitely. But as long as he, I mean, Fizz just, I
You
don't
gotta
get,
be respected.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah.
So I know. Yeah. My comment is like I just think that that's kind of dirty.
It is dirty, but
I do
you know,
too.
I feel like they must have had.
Maybe they had a
something-
sit down. Maybe they.
They've been
Or
crushing
they
each other
already
this
had a
whole
fight.
time.
They already
just
had
was
the
waiting
fight.
on the
They already,
opportunity.
boxed it out, and Omarion is like, whatever, I'm out.
I'm like you. I would wonder how long has this been going on.
Yeah.
Have you been
Yeah.
checking my
Right.
girl out this whole time? Have y'all been plotting?
It didn't just happen overnight.
Right.
It happened.
Absolutely.
That's that crowd on the shoulder.
or
that-
it could all be just a setup. It could all be Omarion probably
Nah.
don't want to be a part. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
possible.
you know what? I have a really good friend who is in that world, and when she pulled back the curtains on the reality TV, everything that goes into
storylines.
it, oh my God,
Oh yeah.
most of that is bull.
Right.
well,
Yeah.
everything is with reality TV. Everything is scripted.
Yep.
Just like we'll write a show and then we'll go off the script because
We
we're gonna
should write a
we're
show.
gonna go whatever, right? That's how that goes. But reality show is they write a show, and the scenarios aren't real,
Right.
but the reactions are.
The reactions are right.
So sometimes they create real messy scenarios
To get a reaction.
To get a reaction.
Yeah.
Now, what usually happens is they put people in these roles that they know are going to act a damn fool.
Right.
They get the Cardi B's
Yeah, yeah.
and the
Well, they
Johnny
look for
Blazes
people who are-
that are going to
yeah.
check people that come across them, and that's going to give them a show.
Yeah.
See,
And what ends up happening, these artists actually really reacting, end up with real life
Yeah.
cases.
Right.
See, I would be horrible in a reality show. I don't care enough.
I don't want
Right.
to do a reality show. I
I
would
don't care enough.
ask.
Have you been approached? I mean, being in that world, I feel like there's a direct route from the NFL to either
Reality
hip hop
TV or hip hop.
TV or whatever. Have you been approached to do stuff like that?
I mean, to do like modeling and some acting stuff like that,
Yeah.
but I'm not much of that. That's not my personality type.
Yeah.
Yeah, you seem really low key. I
Yeah.
feel like they would be pissed off
Right,
that
right.
you just
Yeah.
did get pissed off.
Right.
You
But
know,
he
somebody
probably,
throw a
he
drink at
probably
you.
is also that person that if you push the right button,
Flash
Yeah.
out. Nah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
the button.
I can tell. usually when
Takes
they
a lot.
come like
Takes-
that, you
takes
know,
a-
you
Yeah.
can't.
takes a lot.
And they keep themselves out of certain situations.
Well, we meditate over here, right now.
Yeah, meditation is key.
Yeah. So what are your expectations in love today? Like what are you searching? Are you
I'm searching.
okay?
And what's crazy is me and a friend of mine, we had a talk not too long ago, and I said, I'm ready for love.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, that's the first time I've heard a male say that.
It's a lot of y'all.
And it's like, it takes you to get to a place where you've done the work, all the inner work, and like you love yourself first.
Right.
And then now you can go out and find somebody that is healed also, and then build that connection
Right.
and everything like that. So I am looking for something real. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not out here
Ladies,
just wasting
Y'all
time.
heard?
All right.
Oh wait, I done turned off the.
Oh, sure.
Oh, you turned the live
No,
off at
kidding,
the
it's
wrong
on.
time.
Videos gonna be popping.
Listen, y'all
Videos
know
gonna
me.
be
Y'all know
popping.
me. I'm the Cupid. You know, I find.
Oh,
Are you
based
part
on-
of the group?
No, he's not in the group.
You gotta
me
join
in.
the group.
Put
me
I'm
in.
gonna
Put
buzz you
Me and
in.
Coach.
Fill me in.
Are you
Put
based
you in,
out of
Coach.
Houston?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am.
So
I'm
when
here
you
local.
when you're doing your talks,
Y'all heard?
do you focus more on young people or adults or a mixture of both?
It's a mixture, but of course, athletes
Okay.
and young people relate to me. Like I can really reach them. I know I don't look my age, and so I'm just relatable to them.
Yeah.
So if somebody else was older or looked a little bit different, they might not be able to relay that message the way I can. So they actually really gravitate towards me. But my message is for everybody, really.
So you're good with kids.
Yeah.
You hear that, ladies? He's good with kids.
Oh Lord.
I'm just saying, you're good with kids.
I am.
Shout out.
Do you have
Love the
kids?
kids, yes.
You do?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
I think I did. I saw a picture of your son
Yeah.
on
Yes, I did
Instagram.
see you and your
Yes,
son.
yes.
Okay. All
Shout
right.
out
So
to Black fathers.
what's next for you? What do you have going on next?
So I'm trying to manifest this awesome lifestyle. So I got a lot of stuff coming up, but of course my clothing.
Today is 11/11.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Manifestation.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead.
So I've already got some things in the works.
Okay.
Like we talked about my clothing line,
Yeah.
of course speaking. And I know these things will lead to other opportunities, and that's how journeys go.
Yeah.
You take those little steps, and other things unfold. So I'm open to the path. I'm open to love. I mean, I'm really open to making things happen this year, and just continually, just getting that motivation
All right.
and
2020.
momentum. Yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
Do you miss the league?
I do, and that's one thing that's a hard question because like when you've done that your whole life, it's kind of like like you lost somebody because understand like you've been doing this your whole life and it's done, like you can't do it no more. So imagine just not being able to do what you love in essence, and then having to find something else to do.
Right.
So it's that's a journey in itself,
Right.
just adjusting to real life, understanding that, hey, you were in a bubble the whole time and that, that pops. So you see things a lot differently and a lot clearer than you did before. And you just learn. You just learn from it. You grow from it.
All right. Okay.
So one more question. Does your son play football?
He doesn't.
He doesn't?
He's 5.
Okay.
But-
But is that something that you, like, would you encourage him to do it, or would
Honestly, I wouldn't push my son to play any sports. It's going to be up to him what he wants to do.
Okay.
And I know most people don't have that type of opinion or outlook on that, especially somebody who's a professional or, former professional athlete. I'm going to push my son to do this. Like, really, he's smart. He's athletic. Whatever he wants to do, I'm going to make sure he's great at it.
Awesome.
So I don't care if it's, soccer, baseball, or just smart, just academics.
Funny thing is, I've met a few former NFL players, and a lot of them have said exactly what you said. They all, my expectation was they'd be like, yeah, you're going to the league.
Yeah.
I'll use my connections, whatever. But a lot of them are just like that. They're like, no, I want my child to do whatever they want to do. They don't have to follow my footsteps.
Now, once he says, "Daddy, I want to play football," it's on.
It's on.
It's on. Hey, we strapping him up, ready to go.
Man, I hate to go to those practices. You gonna tell me what to do? I was there.
Right.
Poor baby.
Get on the line.
Poor baby. Well, we appreciate you coming to spend time with us today, and we hope to have you back soon.
Yes, I enjoyed myself. I hope to be back really soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell us where we can find you. Your social media.
So on IG, you can find me at Q.Spears, and on Facebook and YouTube, you can find me at Real Talk with a Pro.
Okay. Awesome.
So check me
okay.
out. Hey, see what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I love you have a 5-minute video up that you're talking about. You're talking about purpose and your journey.
Right.
And I mean, I won't lie. My life just got derailed. I was on a path and it just kind of got pushed off. And it was very encouraging to hear someone say that I'm not the success story that most people would think I am,
Right,
but I'm still a success story,
Right.
right? And it just it really put me in a positive mindset. So I really encourage people out there who are, especially if you're trying to figure out what to do,
Right.
or if you have a dream or have a goal, I definitely think you have the words to encourage people and get them focused on what's important and not where they are right now. Right. So yeah, that was awesome. It spoke to me, definitely.
I'm definitely glad that message came through.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really am.
I'm excited to see what's up next for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me
the
see what
sky's the limit.
how I can slide my little cupidish stuff in there.
The sky's the limit.
You done messed up now.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you
Queen.
so
Thank you
much.
for inviting me. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed
we
myself.
enjoyed talking with you.
We'll definitely have you back.
Yes, most definitely.
All right, so this wraps up our this episode tonight. We had Real Talk with the Pro founder, Mr. Quinton Spears. And One, what's up next with you? What you got going on?
I'm manifesting.
Okay. These
I'm
are the words that I manifest.
Yes,
I
I'm
manifest.
still working with a few of my business colleagues as far as locking down the venue and the date
Okay.
for the video release that I had scheduled for the month of November. I'm going to push that back to December
Okay.
because I don't want to rush that. I've also just been recently booked with Super Send, Vodka
yeah, I saw
Redo,
that.
Vincent Paul for my
we
birthday.
don't have it with Tavgo Entertainment.
Yes, with
Shout out
Shout out to
Tavares
Tavares Good.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm excited about being booked for that. That's all the way in January, but I know those tickets are going to sell out fast.
Yeah.
So if you want to
Most
come
definitely.
party with me for my birthday, that's where I'll be before I'm on my way to the airport to head out the country.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm going to be launching some shirts and stuff of my own. But in the meantime, I'm repping 288.
Hey, friend. Hey, friend. Okay.
Shout out of
It's-
Atlanta,
sorry,
Georgia.
Y'all, we had to.
Have
okay.
a moment.
Sorry about that, y'all. But yeah.
So
Tony,
anyway,
what you got going on?
I have the I Am podcast.
Hey.
I think I just posted the 6th episode
What?
of the I Am podcast. That's available on most podcast venues, including
recording
Apple. Huh?
You recording here?
No, I'm actually doing it from home. I'm doing it from home. Yeah,
Oh, we need to talk about
yeah, we
Is
can.
this it?
No,
No.
that is not it.
actually, I've seen you do some videos where you're actually on different locations as well.
Yeah, so I was
which is
promoting it.
so
I had a
dope.
talk at Texas Southern University, and I was talking to some young ladies about dating and stuff like that. I mean, it was very young, and I just took that opportunity to promote the podcast. So I Am is for inspiration and motivation. So it's just a quick 5-minute talk about, just some words of wisdom,
Here it
some
is.
inspiration
Thank you.
for you, or whatever the case
I
may be.
found it.
And I'm just really hoping that people will gravitate towards, listen to it, and go from there. I really would like to get into that speaking venue as well. You know, it's just I ain't played football. I mean, I played, but not like that.
Okay. All
I
right.
played on Bell Dart.
There's a lane for everybody.
Deep in the heart of South
I know
Park.
what that's at. All right. So we're gonna close out this evening. I have some announcements to make, but I'm gonna hold out until our next episode.
All right.
And I look forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks.
2
Yeah,
weeks.
2 weeks.
And I love y'all. Y'all have a great night. Happy International Singles Night.
Oh,
Yes, and happy Veterans Day to all
And
the
happy
veterans.
Veterans Day. And rest in peace to Darvin Phillips from Mo City. We miss you,
right.
big dog. All right.